Hi, Shavuot Tov.
Hello.
How are you? I
Good.
was wondering, buddy, where is everyone?
Hi, Benny.
Hello, Shavuot Tov.
Shavuot Tov. Hello.
Hi, everybody. Good to Bach.
Good talk.
Hello.
Hello.
Jackie's playing at 10:30.
Oh, great. You're going to spend a whole day over there.
I'll do Cole and Jackie. Okay.
Hello.
Doc.
Hi, Mario. What is that picture behind you? That's
What? Oh, it's me.
it is?
It's
Move it.
it's
Move
an
to-
AI picture.
Move to the side. No, the other. Oh my God! It's not you.
What?
Well, I put a picture of mine, and that's what he came up with.
Oh my gosh! AI did that. Oh my gosh!
Wait, what is that? That's AI?
Yeah.
It's a picture of Mario, but it doesn't look like Mario. It's not Mario.
No.
You're much better looking, Mario.
100% better, yeah.
No.
Okay.
Shavuot Tov.
It's the ball. Susie, how was your trip to Israel? I know you've been home for a little bit.
It was fantastic. You know how it is there. It's so much fun.
Oh,
Oh my
good.
God. Every minute is busy, fun, fun.
Busy
And
with the kids. I mean, you went from house to house.
yes, and then there's a lot
Three
of
different houses.
3 different houses and then eating and, here, there, moving
Good.
around, walking a lot, walking.
Yeah. You had sneakers to walk because over there, there's cobblestones. It's not that easy.
Yeah,
to
but it was cold. So it was like boots
Was.
or boots.
Really? Oh, you were wearing boots. Okay, good.
Yeah, but flat.
Of course, yeah. Good. Okay. The kids must have been thrilled to have you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank God. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what Marcus said.
So Ernie says it's interesting tonight.
It's
Okay.
always interesting.
Okay.
It is.
With our people.
Okay,
Very interesting.
I think we're on Pasuk Yud Gimel. Perek Chav Beis. We're in Perek Chav Beis. We're talking about Yoshio HaMelech, and they discovered a Sefer Torah. We said it was most likely Sefer Dvorim. We discussed, and then they read it in front of him, and they found that the Sefer was open in the Tochacha, where it says that the people and the king are going to be taken off to a foreign land. And of course, this bothered him. So Pasuk Yud Gimel says that Yoshua Melech told his shlichim, "L'chu dirshu es Hashem ba'adiu v'ada'am." Go ask the Nevi'im on behalf of me and the nation. Uva'ad kol Yehuda al divrei ha-sefer nimtza hazeh. About the meaning of the finding this sefer, and now that we've read what it says, Ki gdola chamat Hashem, the anger of Hashem is great. Asher hi nitztavanu, that will light us. Ala shelo shamu avoseinu, that we didn't listen, our fathers didn't listen. Al divrei sefer hazeh lasos kachol hakasuv aleinu. They read Sefer Dvorim, which says that you're going to be punished by doing averos. Yoshua Melech understands that they're in trouble, so he wants them to go to the Nevi'im to ask what they should do. Yalkut Shimoni says that there were 3 Nevi'im in that generation. Yirmiyahu hayam mishlosha Nevi'im shnisnabu bo sadot. Yirmiyahu Navi was a Navi there. And who were the other 2?
Hulda.
Yirmiyahu, Tzfanya, and Hulda Nevi'ah.
Yes.
So Yirmiyahu was prophesied in the marketplaces. Tzfanya would go to the shuls, and he would darshan in the shuls. V'Hulda etzel anoshim. Hulda would prophesize to the women. Yirmiyahu started prophesying in the 13th year of Yoshiahu's reign, like it says in Yirmiyahu. Min shlosha esrei shana Yoshiahu ben Amon melech Yehuda. Yirmiyahu Navi started prophesying. Remember, Yoshiahu was 8 years old when he became king. If you notice, Yoshua Melech didn't tell them which Navi to go to. It looks like Yoshio, we'll see from later psukim, that he dafka sent them to Hulda, not to Yirmiyahu. The Gemara in Megillah Yud Daled Amud Beis, in fact, asks, "The Yoshio gufe hechi shavik Yirmiyahu mishadid legabo." Why would the Melech, not Yirmiyahu, was obviously the sort of the dean of the Nevi'im? Why would he not send her to Yirmiyahu? So number one, he did not instruct them particularly to go to Yirmiyahu. And they themselves chose to go to Hulda. And we'll see, we're going to learn why we think that happened. By the way, in this pasuk, in Divrei Yomim, it adds, Uva'ad nishar b'Yisrael of Judah. It doesn't just say the Judeans, it says those that remain from Yisrael. So it seems that there were, of the 10 tribes, who did not go into Golus. They went to Judea to live with their fellow Jews. Now, we're also going to learn that Yirmiyahu Navi went to wherever they were and brought back the 10 Shvatim from Assyria, and Yoshua Melech ruled over them. Now, this word of, you notice the pasuk says, Dirshu es Hashem. So where do we see this? We see by Rivka. It says, Vatelech lidrosh es Hashem. Rivka went to the Beis Medrash of Shem ve'Aver. She went to the Beis Medrash of Shem. She wanted to be told what's going to be in the end. But the Ramban over there learns that when it says lidrosh, it means daven, tefillah. That Rivka went there to daven. Now, we just, tonight, by Mincha, we learn Parshas Yisro. Now, Moshe said to Yisro, Ki yavo elai ha'am lidrosh Elokim. What is this? So what's going on there? What are the people coming all day to Chepa with Moshe? Rashi says there that the Sheba'im ha'am el Moshe lish'ol Talmud mipi Gvura. Number one, to find out directly from Hashem what's going to be. But the Ramban says as well over there too that they should daven. It's like going to, like we go to a Rebbe or a Tzaddik that he should daven for us. So Klal Yisrael was going to Moshe that that Moshe should daven for them. So here we can say both pshatim by Yoshio sending Lidrosh, he wanted to know what's going to be, and he wanted to daven. He wanted the Navi to daven for them. So
Bernie?
yes.
Oh, can I just say, so here it says, Gershuat Hashem ba'adi, uba'ad ha'am. He's putting himself, his own interests before the klal. You would think that, he would say, for the klal and then myself, but he is putting his own interests. And there is a shot here that does say that he realized that he understood the implication that even if the king is righteous and the people are not, that he would go into exile with them. So perhaps that's why it was kind of selfish, beseeching, the Navi for his own interests as opposed to the klal.
But Yoshio was a tzaddik. So
Right. So why is he, so what I'm saying is, why is he, asking for himself, his own interests?
Because in Judaism, the melech is the lave of the people. He represents the people. He's like a servant of the people. It's not like other king, a melech Yisrael. I would think that he's davening because he knows that there's by Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, we talk about that the king goes first. So when there's less anger with it, right?
No,
so
I understand that. I understand.
Maybe it's in that reference frame that he knows that he's being judged and the people are being judged. But we hear, I certainly hear the concept that maybe he should have said Bad Yisrael Uvadi.
Yes,
Melech goes first, maybe.
No, but when he's speaking, somebody else, when everybody else, they refer to the king, of course. But when when he wants to find out about the status of himself, even though I'm sure he wants to know, but you would think that he would really make a request regarding the klal. That's my criticism.
I hear. So Pasuk Yudalet, Vayelech Hilkiyahu HaKohen, V'achikam v'achbor v'shafan v'asaya, El Chulda Hanaviyah, a new character. They go to Chulda the prophetess. Eishes Shalom ben Tikva, the wife of Shalom ben Tikva, who was ben Charchas Shomer Abgadim. He watched over, the son of the person who watched over all the clothing. V'hi Yoshevet b'Yushalayim b'Mishneh. She's in Jerusalem by the Mishnah. We'll see what that means. Vaidabru Eleh, and they spoke to her. Now, Rashi brings from the Yonasan ben Uziel, Bebeis Ulpana, Shar Yesh Bazor Sheshmo Shar Chulda. In the Gemara Masechta Midos, where it describes how the Beis HaMikdash looked, there was a gate. One of the gates that you entered Israel was called Shar Chulda. Others learn Mishnah means outside of the walls. And what would she do there? Torah, and that's Mishnah. So Mishnah refers to what, like we say, Mishnah meaning Torah Shabbal Peh. Others say it's from Elad Dvorm ad le'enei kol Yisrael, which is Mishnah Torah. Things that are repeated, like in Sefer Dvorim.
In other words, like the base of Medrash.
Like a base medrash,
Yeah.
like yeshiva. Now, you notice it says Vayelech Chilkiah. What shouldn't it say Vayelchu? There were 5 people there. So the EAM wants to say the rest of them did not want to go to Yirmiyahu. What has Yirmiyahu been doing? They know the prophecies of Yirmiyahu. He's been giving tochacha. The base of Midrash is going to be destroyed. Now, people weren't listening to Yirmiyahu. And they knew what Yirmiyahu would say. So that's why maybe it was Chilkiyahu himself who said we should go to Huldah. Why? She's a woman, and women have rachmanis. And we're going to see in a minute. What does it mean? If someone has rachmanis, why is that going to affect their nevuah? So first, the Gemara Megillah asks, how could it be if Yirmiyahu is there that she could even have the effrontery to be misnabe? It's like almost like a student in front of his Rebbe, you're not supposed to speak up. We said that Yirmiyahu started prophesying in the 13th year of Yoshua's reign, and the Sefer was found in his 18th year. So the Gemara says, Amri Bey Rav Mishmei de Rav, Huldah Kroivas Yirmiyahu Esa. Huldah was related to Yirmiyahu. And therefore he was not makpid, she's family.
There's another interpretation of Mishnah being.
One second. So it says, V'Yoshio Gufa Hechi Shavik Yirmiyahu Mishadu L'Kapah. How did Yoshio himself not send to Yirmiyahu, send to him? Armid Rebbe Shilah Mipnei Shanoshim Rachmani Yosein. So the Gemara says that Yoshio specifically wanted to be sent to Huldah because he knew Huldah was a woman, and women have Rachmanis. And Rabbi Yochanan Yirmiyahu lo hava asam. Shahalach lahachzer aser shvatim. Yirmiyahu was not in town. He had gone to Assyria to bring back the Shvatim. And therefore Huldah could prophesy because Yirmiyahu was not there. Either he wasn't makpid because he was a family member, or he wasn't there, or because Yoshua sent directly to Huldah because of this issue of Rachmanut. Yes, Bernie.
Another interpretation is that Huldah was actually teaching them Torah Shebal Peh. That's what Mishnah mean, according to Rashi's interpretation.
And therefore what? So
That's the word Mishnah refers to not the second wall, the middle wall of the 3 walls, but she was teaching Mishnah Torah Shebal Peh to them.
To the Skenim Shabador. Yeah, we said Haisam Lamedes Torah Shebal Peh Skenim Shabador, and that's what it means by Mishnah. It's the other pshat in Mishnah. But in terms of how do we say how did all these people end up by Huldah, not by Yirmiyahu? That's what we've been dealing with now. If either he wasn't there. So the question is, and the Marsha brings it, just because the women are Rachmanim, how is that going to change their prophecy? And the Marsha says, because she's Rachmanis and she got a prophecy from Hashem for bad, she's going to switch it. It's not going to happen.
Ernie, may I just ask, historically, has there been any Navi who has prayed for the and modified the prophecy?
Well, didn't we have one of the kings sent Eliyahu and Navi and Eliyahu davened, and things got better. So I think we have.
So there has been a precedence for that.
But based on what we're saying here, remember we said what's lidrosh? Is it to find out what's going on or to daven? So based on the question we just asked, that Rachmanis is not going to change the nevuah, there's no nevuah here. They came for her to daven.
But
Now,
by the way, they're descendants of Rachav, right?
We're gonna discuss that. Yes, we're gonna discuss it. Now, there are opinions that because she was a Rahman, it would affect the Nevuah. Now, in Parshas Baloscha, where Miriam Miriam and Aaron, or actually it was instigated by Miriam, we're Nevi'im too, because what was the Lashon Hara over there? Why did Moshe separate from his wife? We're Nevi'im too. So there the Torah goes at great length to explain the difference between Moshe Rabbeinu's Nevuah and the Nevuah of other Nevi'im. And we're going to read the Rambam. In his Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah, Ma hefresh yesh bein nevuas Moshe l'shar kol neviim. What is the difference between Moshe's prophecy and other prophecies? Kol ha-neviim al yedei malach. Other neviim, they get their nevuah, I would say, through an agency. It's not direct. Lefichach ro'im ma shehem ro'im b'mashal v'chida. They see things. It's a parable. It's a riddle. Moshe Rabbeinu lo yedei malach. Shenemar pe el pe adaber bo. When it says there in Baloscha, Hashem speaks pe el pe. Diber Hashem el Moshe panim el panim. It says utmunas Hashem yabid. There's no mashal, says the Rambam. El roa davar al buryav, v'lo chida uv'lo mashal. He sees it straight. Harei derak Moshe Rabbeinu ra'a nevuah be'ofen shlo utzrach l'shum perish derausa bebriud. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't need any explanation. He didn't need anything. He saw it directly. Aval kol hanavim ra'u nevuah yedei mashal v'chida v'yedei ruach hakodesh shebahem. Heim mefarshim et kavanat nevuah. They actually have to. They see a parable and then they have to explain it. V'yesh lomar da'yedei zeh yamo'il rachmanut nashim. So we're not in the Rambam anymore. This is the Yam saying that now we understand why the Tchunas HaNefesh, a person's special midah, will affect the Nevuah. The HaKol Navi Mefaresh Nevuato Lefi Havanato. V'chol Havanat Adam Hu Lefi Tamtzit Nafsho. Every person's individual understanding is going to be based on his own personal characteristics. V'im Yesh Adam Rachman, Hu Yavina Mashal B'derech Rachmanut. If he sees a parable, he's going to sort of explain it with compassion. V'im yesh adam achzar, if he's cruel, yireu b'derech ha'hefech. Lefichach shalach Yoshua al chulda, ki adashi yiv parsha nevuah lefi tchunas nafsha shu b'derech rachmanut. Now, there's a famous Maril Diskin. So, before we get to the Maril Diskin, I think we've mentioned before the concept of aspeclaria ha'me'ira versus aspeclaria she'ena me'ira. I would say it like seeing things through rose-colored glasses versus clear glass. Why was it important for the Torah to say right there, Umoshe ha'ish anav me'od mikol adam? In that parsha, we're told that Moshe was the most humble person. So we're told because Moshe Rabbeinu, all of his midot, he didn't have anger, he didn't have jealousy, he didn't have haughtiness. He had perfect midos, and he was the only Navi that had perfect midos. So if, let's say, all the other Nevi'im, they saw whatever they saw through rose-colored glasses. Let's say their midah was envy. So there was green. So when they saw something, it was colored with green because envy is green, meaning whatever they saw was colored by whatever midah they are. And why is Moshe Rabbeinu the giver of the Torah? The Torah comes directly through Moshe because it's pure nevuah from Hashem. It's pe'al pe'al dabirbo. There's a very strange chazal. It's in Baba Basra, where it describes various sforim that different people wrote. Yirmiyah wrote Sefer Melachim, and all the various authors. Then it says Moshe Kosav Sifro Uparshas Bilam. Now, what does that mean? Sifro means Torahs Moshe. He wrote the 5 books of Moshe, and Parshas Bilam. Now, Parshas Bilam is within the Chamisha Chumshei Torah. So what does it mean that Moshe wrote his Sefer and Parshas Bilam? So there, there's another Chazal that says, Lo kam navi od b'Yisrael k'Moshe. What do Chazal say? Lo kam b'Yisrael, aval be'umas ha'olam kam, umanu bilam. So in the Kadosh Baruch Hu made it that the Goyim also had a Navi on the same level of Moshe Rabbeinu. So we said, what do you mean? Bilam, the Rasha, is on the same level of Moshe Rabbeinu? So for that moment, when Bilam was going to curse Klal Yisrael, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him Nevuah like Moshe Rabbeinu, Bas Pekirya Me'ira, because Bilam had terrible midos. If he would have given him Nevuah like he normally would give Nevuah, would come out bad. So he gave it directly, and Bilam just transferred when he says, Matovu Alecha Yaakov Mishnosecha Yisrael, it comes out directly from Hashem. And that's why the two parts, the Torah was, everything is Bas Pekirya Me'ira of Moshe Rabbeinu, and then Parshas Bilam came out the same way. But in two, that's how the Maharil Diskin explains that he gave him this, and that it's only at that time that Bilam had Nevuah on the same level of Moshe. It explains a number of Chazals. But we understand now better why there might have been a desire to send the question to Huldah, because when she would give prophecy, it would come out with Rachmanis. Now, what Barbara was talking about is also in the Gemara Megillah Yudalad Amud Beis. Rav Nachman, Huldah mibnei bonav shel Yoshua haisa. Huldah was descended from Yoshua. Dichsiv ben Charchas. Right? We mentioned ben Charchas. And it says that Yoshua was buried betimnas Serach. And Charchas and Timnas Serach, it's mashma that Huldah comes from Yoshua. Now, Eisvei Rav Eina Sabel Rav Nachman. Rav Eina asked a question on this Gemara, which said that Huldah came from Yoshua. It says, Shmona Nevi'im, Vehem Kohanim, Yatsu Merachav Azona. So, if you remember, when Yoshua sends two Meraglim to the safe city of Yericho, so Rachav Azona brings them in. We learned in detail, what does that mean? Zona means she was an innkeeper who gave mazon. It doesn't necessarily mean she was a prostitute, which is the pshuto meaning of Zona. No, she was just a hotel, like an innkeeper. No, we learned other pshatim that she was mamish a zone. But eventually, 8 Kohanim came out of Rachav. The Eluhain, Neria, Baruch, meaning Baruch ben Neria, who was he's the Rebbe of Yirmiyah Navi. Visaria, Machse, Yirmiyah, Chilkiah, Chanamel, Vishalum. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Av Huldah Neviah, Mibnei Banei Shel Rachav Azona Haisa. That's the Gemara. Why? Ksiv Hacha ben Tikva. And then, in the Parsha of Yoshua, where Rachav Azona tells the Meraglim, as Tikvat Chut Shani, right? Rachav tells them, the Meraglim tell her, hang a red string from your window. That way we know not to kill you, because we're going to be killing out all the population of Yoshua, but we're going to spare you. So the word tikva is the remez here that Rachav is descended also from Rachav Azon. So Amrle Eina Saba, Vamrle Pesa, Mineu Minech Tistaim Shmaitza, meaning Igaira V'Naspa Yoshua. Yoshua converted Rachav and married her. So who was Yoshua's wife? Rachav Hazona. Okay. So the Gemara asked, Umiavale Zarli Yoshua? Did Yoshua have children? V'haksiv Nun. That means Yoshua bin Nun implied that he had no children. So the Gemara answers, Bani lo havale, but Bansan havale. He didn't have sons, but he had daughters. So that we understand that both Chuld and Yirmiyahu are descended from both Yoshua and Rachav. Okay. Now, Chuldah's husband is this Shalom ben Tikva. Says the Pirkei Rabbi Eliezer, Haya Migdolei Ador. Chulda's husband was one of the Gdolei Ador. V'haya oset stokos b'chol yom v'yom. He was a huge Baal Chesed. Maya asa, what did he do? Haya yoshev al Pesach halo memale esachem esmayim. V'haya yoshev al Pesach hayir. He would fill up a big jug of water, and he would sit at the gate of the city. People were coming from the road, thirsty, and he would give them to drink. How about this? Because of his tzaddikus, because of his tzidkus, he merited that his wife became a neviah.
Why can't she get all the credit herself?
Because just like we say, behind a great man lies always a great woman. Behind a great woman lies a great man. It's reciprocal. Well, I think that makes sense.
I never heard the reciprocal, but if you say so, I'll take it.
I'm thinking.
All the
with-
apologists are talking
You mean
about.
behind a great woman lies a great man? You never heard that? Here we see it.
Ernie,
It's
what about Devorah? What did I think?
Shalom ben Tikva shartz ruach hakodesh al ishto.
Ernie,
why
did
I said that
Devorah's
Huldah-
husband? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead, Barbara.
Did Devorah's husband also? I think he had a slut as well, right?
Dvorah's husband was Barak ben Avinoam.
Lashlapidot or something. What? No.
Barak ben Avinoam was Dvorah's husband.
Right. So did he give her the slut as well?
I would say the same thing. She gave him the schus, right? She appointed him the general, and he won, but it was through Dvorah. So and the same thing with Mordechai, and the same thing with Avram Avinu and Sarah. You can say Sarah is right. The Shechina told Avram, "Listen to your wife Sarah." So we see Rivka was right in which son. I don't think it's so pashut that it's always the great man. The great women are behind the men as well. We see it definitely here, right? Because it says Vayelech el Chulda Neviah Eisha Shalom ben Tikva.
Well, Ernie, you're very politically
ben
correct.
Sachra. So they changed his name because of this. Yes, Barbara?
I said you're politically correct.
Okay. Also Tesva. Vatomer Alehem. Ko amar Hashem Elokei Yisrael. Imru la'ish asher shalach etchem elai. Thus spoke Hashem, tell the person who sent you to me the following. Her nevuah is going to be that they need to do tshuva. Now he does, you notice she doesn't say Imrula Melech. She says Imrula Ish. And the Gemara finds fault in that. Amrav Nachman lo yayer yisul enoshi. Lo na'ech hashivut lenoshim. So we just went from political correctness, we're going the other way. That it was seen as too haughty, this chashivus that she took. And the Gemara says, Tarte nashi yehirin avyin, v'sanyin shemayu. Two women were haughty, and they were given names that were disgusting. Chadashma Zibursa. Devorah, Zibursa in Aramaic is a bee, right? One name of the woman who was too haughty is Devorah. We just read Shiras Devorah today. V'chadashma Karkushta. A chulda is a weasel, right? So v'chadashma Karkushta, chulda. Now, Ziburusa, what does it say? Vatishlach vatikra leBarak ben Avinoam. V'ilu I lo az l'gabei. That means Devorah sent for Barak to come to her, and she should have come to him. And Karkushta ksiv be'imru la'ish asher shalach etchem elai. And which was not kovedik. Now, not only women are born not to be gaivadiks, men are born to be not to be gaivadiks either. Meaning, Amar Aviram Rav, it says in Psachim Samich Vav Amid Beis, Kol ha-misyaher, whoever acts in a haughty fashion, im chacham hu, chachmaso mistalekes mimen. If he was a wise man, he loses his wisdom. Im navi hu, nevuaso mistalekes mimenu. If he's a prophet, he loses his prophecy. And Hulda might have had a complaint against Yoshish. He's the one that needs her. So he should have come to her and not to send shluchim. Do you remember Yeshayahu Navi and Chizkiyahu? That there was a debate, who should go to who? Yeshayahu wanted Chizkiyahu to come to him. And that's what happened. And you see, Yeshayahu wasn't punished for that. So they want to answer that that was because of the covet of the Nevuah, not of him. So, but it's a problem. Because the issue of being haughty is a problem for both men and women. So Rav Schwab, as he always does, learns that, remember, this is a nevuah that's coming from Hashem. And from Hashem, Yoshio was called Ish. And that was a praise to Yoshua Melech. Because he was machnia himself. He tore his clothing. And that was beginning of his tshuva. And we'll see this caused the delay in punishment. We'll see the Yoshio is going to be told that he's not going to be personally punished. So this is a great milah of Yoshio that he was machnia himself. That's why it's like a praise to be called Ish. That's how Rav Schwab learns. Hulda didn't understand that. So, the Gemara considers it haughty for her, and what Schwab wants to say is trying to miyashiv that. Now, what is the nevuah? Tezayin, Kwamar Hashem. I'm going to bring evil here, and on those who live here. As called Divrei Sefer Shekara Melech Yudah. Everything that's written in the Sefer that you read in the Tochacha, that's going to take place. Now, the Iyayama asks a fantastic question. Yirmiyahu Navi has been going around now for 5 years. Remember, we said he started prophesying in the year 13 of Yoshio's reign, and they find the Sefer in the 18th reign. So 5 years, Yirmiyahu Navi is running around saying that the Churban is going to come, the Churban is going to come, and we don't see that Yoshio was afraid. There's no tearing of his clothes. Only when they find the Sefer does he start having problems. So on this, I want to quote a Ramban in Sefer's Breishis. He says, Daki kol gzeres irin, kasher tetzei mikoach gzerel pol dimyon, tiyeh gzer mitkayemet al kol ponim. When a gzera comes out from what's being thought to be done to being actuated, there's always a maisa that goes along with it. We're going to see later on, if we get to it, Yirmiyahu Navi commends Baruch ben Neriah to put the shtaros into a jug and bury it. Or, if you remember, Shaul HaMelech tries to leave, Shmuel HaNavi leaves, and Shaul grabs the cloak and it's torn. We see whenever there's a nevuah, only with dibur, that doesn't work. You need a maisa. So the fact that this sefer was opened up to these psukim, that was a bad simon. And that's why now, just because Yirmiyahu is running around with dibur with an action is powerful. Now we learned something else very important here. The pasuk says, Ko amar Hashem es kol divrei hasefer asher kara melech Yehuda. So the Gemara in Masechta Sukkah, Lamed Ches Amud Beis, Rav Shimon ben Pazi, Yeshua ben Levi, Mishum bar Kapora, Minayin l'shomea ka'ona. We have an important halacha. The man comes home from shul Friday night. His wife is mechuyev in Kiddush exactly like he is, because it says Shamor v'Zachor b'dibur echad. Zachor at Yom HaShabbat l'kadsho refers to Kiddush. The Shamor refers to all of the negative prohibitions of Shabbos. So just like women are mechayev in all negative prohibitions, women are potter in mitzvah sasei shazman grama. A mitzvah tied to time, like shaking the lulav or blowing the shofar, they're technically potter from. But all negative mitzvahs, women are chayiv in. So since it says shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, a woman is chayiv in kiddush midoraisa, like the husband. So the husband comes home, makes kiddush, and his wife hears the kiddush. There's a halacha shomea ke'oneh. As long as she hears it, it's as if she said it. And that's how our women and anybody else at our table who are listening to the balabais making kiddush are makayim mitzvahs kiddush through the process of shomea ka'ona. Now, how do we know that this process of shomea ka'ona works? We learn it from this pasuk that we learned tonight. That is, this sefer that Chilkiah Cohen read, he read it. Yoshi only heard it. So then how does this pasuk say, Es kol divrei sefer asher kara Melech Yehuda? It was read to Melech Yoshio. He didn't read it. He heard it. So the Gemara asks, Yoshio karan? V'halo shafan karan. Dichsiv vayikraeu shafan lifnei HaMelech. Eli mikan l'shomea ka'oneh. So if somebody asks you, where is the source for Shomea Ka'oneh in the Torah? It's in Tanakh. It's in this pasuk. It's called Divrei HaSefer Shekara Melech Yehuda. Pasuk Yud Zayin. This is Chulda continuing. Tachas asher zavuni, because you left me, says Hashem. Vayikatru lalim achirim, and you burnt incense to other gods. Leman achiseni, to anger me. B'chol masa yedayim, v'nitztach hamasi b'makom hazeh v'lo sichbeh. You lit my flame in this place, and it will not be extinguished. Now, didn't we start off this parak by telling Yoshua Melech burnt all of the Avodah Zarah from Eretz Yisrael? So how is Chulda saying that the Bnei Yisrael are still worshiping Avodah Zarah? So the Medrash in Eicha Rabbah says, "V'lo haya yodei Yoshia shekol dor hayu avdim Avodah Zarah." He didn't know. Leitzanei ador mayo osim chatzitzra b'delazu v'chatzitzra b'delazu. They would have pictures of Avodah Zarah on the other side of the door. Yoshua HaMelech would send 2 Tamid Chachamim to get rid of the Avodah Zarah from their houses. They wouldn't find anything because they would, I guess, manipulate the door so that they wouldn't see it. So there was plenty of Avodah Zarah in the people because they had gotten so used to, because of the 55 years of Yoshua HaMelech's father Menashe's reign, they couldn't get rid of the Avodah Zarah. Now comes a directive directed to the king, Vel Melech Yehuda, and to the king of Judea. She's referring to Yoshio. Hasholech etchem lidroshus Hashem, who has sent you to me. Kosomru elav, so shall you say to him. Ko amar Hashem Elokei Yisrael advarim asher shamata. This is what Hashem is going to say. Now you read the things that you read, that Yolech Hashem oscha v'esmalkecha, that Hashem is going to carry the nation and its king away. Yes, that gzeira is going to happen, but you are not going to be included in that gzeira. Pasuk Yutes. Ya'an rach levavcha v'tikanem mipnei Hashem. Because you were tender of your heart, and you made yourself subservient in front of Hashem. That which I said on this place, which is going to be to destruction and curse. And you tore your garments. I heard all of that. And you're going to benefit from that. He tried to be Meisir Avodah Zarah from Yisrael and to bring the people back to Tshuva. So, Pasuk Chaf, Lachein and Ani Yosef Chalavosech, you will be gathered up with your forefathers. V'nesafta al kivrosecha b'shalom. You will go to the grave in peace. V'lo tirei necha b'chol harash ani mevil hamakom hazeh. You with your eyes are not going to see the evil that I'm going to bring on Yerushalayim. V'yashivu samelach davar, and you shall say this directly to the king. You're not going to be dragged off with the enemy to Chutz La'aretz in Golus. The pasuk of Yolech Hashem oscha v'esmalkechacha is not going to, you're not going to be the melech that is taken away. You're not going to see the Churban. That's considered, it's going to be peaceful for him. Now, we're going to see at the end of Yoshio that he is going to die in battle. So how is that there's going to be kever b'shalom? So the Musar Nevi'im, he's a Rebbe in Denver that we always quote. He says that for a king to die in battle is the most glorious death. There's no greater death than that, because he's giving up his life to try to save the people. And they're considered kadoshim. But to be killed while you're being dragged off with the sack of Jerusalem and the Churban, that's much worse. So in that respect, it's considered b'shalom. And he was brought back to be buried with his avoisov. So in the end, it's a bit of a nechama for him. Now, let's begin Perek Chav Gimel.
Bernie, I just want to say.
Unless somebody has they want to add some things.
Yeah, I see there's a quote from Moed Rashi interpretation on Moed Katan, that another interpretation of this prophecy is that he would die while the Jewish people were still in peace before the destruction started. So
correct, right? Correct. That's another, because he didn't get dragged off as part of the Churban, it's considered at least a positive. Any other comments? Okay. Now, Perek Chav Gimel. Those of you in the crowd that pay attention to these sorts of things will recognize that this Perek is the Haftorah that we read on the second day of Pesach. Vayishlach HaMelech, Vayasfu Elav Kol Ziknei Yehuda B'Yerushalayim. After Yoshua HaMelech hears from Huldah that there's going to be a Churban of the Beis HaMikdash in Yerushalayim, she basically says that. She says that he's not going to witness it, but it's going to occur. So now he sends out a call to all the Zakanim and the Am to try to get them to do tshuva. He wants to be mevatel this evil gzera. Pasuk Beis, Vayala Melech Beis Hashem. They come up to the palace and to the Beis HaMikdash. V'chol ish Yudah, v'chol Yoshvei Yerushalayim, all the people of Judea, Itova Kohanim Banviim, the priests, the prophets, v'chol ha'am lemikaton v'ad gadol, the nation from young to old. Vayikra v'oznehem et kol divrei sefer habrit hanimtza b'veis Hashem. And like they do on Hakel, right? Every 7 years, periodically the Melech would read from the Sefer Torah. Here he read for them the Sefer Abris that was found in the Beis HaMikdash. Some say even those that remain from the Aseret HaShvatim. That's the that's included, or according to the pshat that Yirmiyahu Navi brought back some of the Aseret HaShvatim. He read the Sefer Tochacha. And he thought that this would scare the people in order to do tshuva. The Radak says when it says Kohanim and Nevi'im, because the Targum says Talmidim, Soifrim, students, Talmidei Chachamim. There weren't, I mean, we talked about there were 3 Nevi'im at the time, Yirmiyah, Tzfanya, and Chulda. However, the Radak says that maybe it was Yirmiyah and Tzfanya, and there was Uriyahu ben Shmayahu, was another Navi mentioned in Sefer Yirmiyahu. And perhaps they were not there when Chilkiyahu HaKohen found the Sefer Torah. Now he called for them to come. So those Nevi'im came. Now, there is a Gemara in Masechta Megillah, Daf Yudalad Amud Aleph, Ton Rabbanon, Arba'im U'Shmona Nevi'im, V'Sheva Nevi'os Nisnabu Lam Yisrael. In Tanakh, we have record of 48 Nevi'im and 7 female Nevi'im. What do you mean? Is that all? There were 1.2 million Nevi'im through the history of Klal Yisrael. So what do you mean that the Gemara says 48 and 7? Ella. We're talking about prophecies that were written down in Tanakh. Prophecies that were needed for future generations, those were written. So therefore, there are a lot of prophets. So maybe when it says that they called Nevi'im, these were other Nevi'im, but not the ones that are mentioned in Tanakh. Now, when it says that he read from the Sefer Abris, so most Meforshim learn that he read from where it opened up, which was the Tochacha. And that, of course, would be something that would be Misorah Tshuva. But why would they call that Sefer Abris? So in Divrei Hayomim, where this story is repeated, Rashi there says that they called this reading a bris, a covenant. So he made a new covenant with them. Because he saw that it was written, if you look in the Tochach at the end, it says, Ushmartem es divrei abris hazos, vasisim osam. And it also says later on in the next parsha, Yoshios, it says, Atem nitzivim hayom kulchem, lifnei Hashem Elokechem. It says, La'avrecha bivris Hashem Elokecha. So Yoshio said, I'm going to do a krisas bris. I will gather the people, and we're going to make a bris that we should all do tshuva. That's how some explain what it means by this Sefer Abris. The Abarbanel learns that Sefer Abris means Sefer Dvorim. Just like a melech, like I said before, just like a melech would read Sefer Dvorim, Hakel. Some of us used to have a minig when Yossi Kram was Baal Koira of Young Israel of Hancock Park. We would gather the night of Hoshana Rabbah, and we would read Sefer Dvorim, sort of to remind us of this mitzvah of Hakel. So the Sefer Abris here maybe refers to all of Sefer Dvorim. And remember, a lot of Sefer Dvorim, there's Isurim, Avodah Zarah, and that would satisfy his purpose of trying to get them to do tshuva. Okay. I think we're going to stop here, and we will continue this very interesting episode with Melech Yoshiyahu as to what was he able to accomplish, et cetera, in his lifetime.
Any questions, comments?
Questions, comments are wrote. No. Okay. Then everybody should have a good week.